Konbanwa. Welcome to Welcome Home, a Terrace House Podcast, Episode 2. I'm Carson.
I'm Kai.
And we are continuing our journey through Terrace House, opening new doors. Today we are just talking about the 5th episode, titled Cocky Boy, right?
Yeah, cocky man?
I had it up on my phone and it just went away as I said it. Let me see. Cocky Kid. There we go.
Cocky Kid.
So
that was a lot.
I should just mention, we are recording these podcasts whenever so we watch an episode, or we watch multiple episodes, and we're recording it at the end of our viewing experience. So some episodes will be one episode, some episodes will be more like last time. But I'm happy today we're just talking about one episode because there is just so much.
Because that was enough content to be over the span of a few episodes.
It was enough. Yeah, it possibly one of the craziest episodes of Terrace House as far as just me wanting to yell at the screen.
Oh yeah, and we did. But or at least I did. But
where do you want to start? I'll let you. A dealer's choice.
Yeah. Okay,
go
so
ahead.
let's just start at the beginning. Let's just go in chronological order.
Okay.
There was the whole thing with everyone hating Yudai. So basically, to recap,
so I guess we should set up the scene. It was originally Nakamura and it was Mizuki in the kitchen drinking, and Mizuki was like, "Oh my god, I'm way too drunk. I need to stop buying 6-packs."
Yeah.
And then she starts ranting on Yudai.
An angry drunk. Yeah, so first, so she's talking to Nakamura about, how much she was so annoyed because they were at, the mall together and Yudai kept wanting to go into Gucci and stuff, because he said he had 2,000 yen to spend, which is, $20 US. And so he said that was, his budget, but that he had his dad's, or his Poppy's credit card. They kept saying Poppy. So then he basically was kind of hinting that he could spend his dad's money if he needed to. We're unclear on if it was an agreed upon credit card that he was allowed to have from his dad, or if he borrowed it without permission. I'm assuming that it was agreed upon.
Well, it seems really agreed upon, but then he was also in a previous episode saying, "Oh, my parents said don't come back," and they kind of cut him off. But he just has this credit card. But also, it was a little confusing. And it also, I will mention, culturally, I think, is one of the big issues where we're kind of disagreeing here.
Yeah.
Because it turned into, just this huge argument where then Nakamura left, all the boys came back in, and Yudai was like, "Oh, I think I did something wrong. It's not like Nakamura told me or anything. And I want to say sorry." And then Mizuki was like, "No, it's not okay," and just went off on Yudai about spending his parents' money, how he needs to make his own way in life. And it came off really bad.
Yeah, on her part, but the Peanut Gallery seemed to see that, or think that she was in the right for some reason, which I completely disagreed with. I think that might be a cultural thing as well, because I guess Japanese culture is very about hard work and sticking in one field and doing that and being independent, whereas I guess in America it kind of depends, but I would say it just, I don't know, it doesn't strike me as weird at all for a 19-year-old in a year after being 18 to still be sort of financially dependent on his parents.
The biggest thing that struck me about this conversation, where I was just I don't agree with what it's saying, is the fact that he didn't buy anything. He wanted to go look at the Gucci store. And I'm sorry, I've been to malls. I cannot afford Gucci. And I've said, "Oh, I want to go look at the Gucci store." He didn't buy anything. He didn't buy sunglasses with his parents' credit card. He just wanted to go look and was like, "Oh, I have a credit card. Also, it's my parents' credit card." And I agree it's wrong to spend your parents' money in that way and that it's not a smart decision. But for it to be as big of a fight as it was,
this huge moral issue, it's also not that he's a deadbeat, because he talked about how he was in school and working 3 jobs,
3 whole jobs,
to be independent. So I don't see that he's a deadbeat or a freeloader like they're talking about him as being. And I just think that, I don't know, I feel who was arguing? Mizuki was arguing? Yeah. I feel like she would have had... I feel like she was making the wrong argument. It seemed that she was just very morally against him using his parents' money at all, where I feel a better argument would have been that it kind of seemed that he wasn't that invested or worried about paying them back. Like, he said he just keeps track of it in his head, like how much he owes, but wouldn't it be better to kind of like, you know, write that down? And it seemed like he wasn't very much concerned with paying them back. And I think that's a bigger
and he
issue.
tried to he tried to play it off as he was. He was like, "Oh, I have it all in my head on like when I'm gonna have the money to pay him back," but like you don't have a job right now, so I don't quite understand how that works.
Yeah,
but the sense I got, because the commentators were fully behind Mizuki and were like, "Yeah, he's a deadbeat," and they just completely turned on Yudai. The housemates who were in that situation, specifically it was Taka, Nakamura, and Shion, and they kind of were like trying to again act like the mediators. There's this great scene when Nakamura is sitting at the computer on the other side of the room, and he just like gets up and strolls over and is like, no, like, and tries to get in the middle of it, where they're like, yeah, you might, like, she has some points, but also like it's not like, you know, trying to diffuse the situation.
It was also very ironic to me how, because Yudai had apologized to Ami for doing like a similar thing to her, where he was too pushy about like her life decisions and like her job, potential like life choices, and then the friends seemed to be upset about that and think that Ami was right to be upset that he was too pushy, but he was mostly like, oh, why aren't you pursuing this? I think you should pursue this, where Mizuki was way more dramatic and pushy than he like ever was to Ami. I still think he should have apologized, but she was like at a level 100 when he was at like a level 3. Like she was like yelling and like would not stop arguing even after he was upset. And I think it was also her being drunk, because she started crying at one point for seemingly no reason.
It was specifically when she started breaking down crying, where number one, I laughed out loud. But number two,
same.
It was specifically then where it was like, oh, this is just like a weirdly emotional drunk rant. And you had an interesting theory that maybe she had a different relationship with her parents or something like that, which I think, like, because we were constantly just thinking, like, why is she so invested in this? Like, why is she to the point of tears?
She doesn't know him.
And it's either because she was just really drunk or there's something more there that we don't know. But
like a personal experience with like someone like, you know, like stealing her money, something or like you know, something like that. But because she was just way too invested and emotional for it to just, either she's just drunk, or you know, or maybe both. But it seemed like it was just very odd, this person that she basically just met, like yelling at him for so long.
So I'll ask you the question, does this make you change your mind at all about Mizuki? Because last episode we were very on board with her.
I don't know. I think I would have to see more. If this was just kind of like a drunk rampage, then like maybe she's a different person when she isn't drunk. But either way, I'd kind of like to see more of an apology from her. She said I'm sorry, but she definitely like didn't mean it. She was just like, sorry. I don't know. So I'd like to see more.
It felt very immature, where she's not shown that before. I felt like she's always been decently mature. So I mean, time will tell. We're still kind of getting to know these people. They're still kind of figuring everything out. So
we didn't even really know Mizuki, so it was weird to see her yelling like that, because that's like the most we've seen of her. So anyway, there was a lot in that episode though. We have more stuff to cover. So after that was like probably like the first half of the drama, and then Tsubasa and Shion had their date, which went nicely.
Way less risque than I thought, and I think also because especially right now in the Terrace House Tokyo, the last episode I just saw, they went to a hot spring and they went and like tried on bathing suits, and it was very bold. And for this to be a date planned, I believe it was episode 1 or 2, I was like, wow, this is a bold choice. And this hot spring, it was just a foot bath, like it wasn't bathing suits or anything, so it was much less of a deal than I thought it was going to be.
It was just cute and wholesome.
It went really well, and I support their relationship, or their friend, you know, if it blooms. Also, I just want to quickly mention our boy. I'm just gonna call him Dad at this point, because he's just become the dad of the Terrace House. he just tearing up Nakamura, just tearing up the slopes.
Oh yeah,
with
he
like
was great.
the coolest dynamic MTV filming, because Terrace House normally has really like beautifully shot footage, and for them just to be like on the slopes like with him was the coolest thing.
Really cool to see. Yeah. It was also cool
even
to
if
see
he
more of
wasn't
his
naked this
personality
time,
besides just being a dad. Like
yeah, because we were both kind of sour. Well, not, I wouldn't say sour. We were both kind of just like on him.
Yeah.
And I have to say he's maybe one of my favorite characters now.
I will just also with how wholesome he was. With, you know, Ami has been really upset with not knowing if she wants to pursue modeling or not, or what she wants to do. And he gave her like really solid advice, saying that it's okay not to know what she wants to do yet, and that even if she gets to be like 25 and she's still job searching, doesn't know that it's still okay. And I thought that was like probably some of the best advice she could have heard at that time. It seemed to like make her really happy, and I think all around he's just been like a really like wholesome addition to the house, and like kind of like a breath of fresh air for the house. But
I'm happy he's transitioning more into the role of being like giving advice and giving dad advice.
Yeah.
I will quickly say I'm gonna ask you this question. Do you get the sense that he's just kind of getting like done with some of the 20-year-old drama? Because he's by far the oldest person at 31.
Yeah.
And especially in the very beginning when Mizuki was complaining to him, he was just laughing at her and was like,
Yeah.
oh, like you're drunk, aren't you? Like this is kind of like ridiculous to get this mad about. And I said originally in the first, when we were watching the first episode, I still think he's going to be the first to leave the Terrace House, just because he's such a weird dynamic fit in there.
yeah, I agree. I think well, unless there's some other drama where someone wants to leave, I think that you know, it's just a very different dynamic. He's also like it seemed like in the middle of his conversation with Mizuki, where she was getting angry and ranting about Yudai, that he got kind of uncomfortable and he just excused himself to the bathroom. But it was weird because like usually like if you would leave to go to the bathroom, this might be a cultural thing as well, but if you would leave to go to the bathroom, you would just kind of say like, I'll be right back, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Whereas he was like, goodbye, have a nice night, I'm going to the bathroom. Like it was like an event, like I am leaving this conversation.
Xian, he went to the bathroom twice in the same night during tough conversations that started to get like weird. He was like, I gotta go, bye.
Yeah, this is very, like, Terrace House boys. Like, if something gets uncomfortable, they will, like, just go and, like, shit instantly somewhere. Like, it's... Yeah.
Unless you're Yudai. Yudai will just sit there and take it and, like, look like he's on the verge of
yeah,
crying.
oh, for sure.
But, like, that's
just
fine.
shaking. Like, oh my god. Yeah, it's very weird. But I could tell that, that Nakamura was kind of uncomfortable and just wanted to avoid that. But then he did come back and kind of try to be rational and give advice, which is interesting. But I did remember that towards the end of the episode, I'm kind of getting weirded out by Nakamura now, because, you know, he was so great throughout the episode, but then it does make sense actually. We were kind of when it was really wholesome, like the advice that he was giving to Ami in the garage, where he was talking about, you know, she should do like what you know, she should just kind of go with the flow and figure things out. But we thought at first that it seemed kind of weird that there might be something romantic going on. And then at the end of the episode, Nakamura revealed, he said he kind of sees her as like a little sister, but he doesn't know if he does, and that he might be interested in her or might not, and thinks that she's cute. And I think this is really weird because one, she's the youngest girl in the Terrace House. Like, she's 20. Yudai is 19, she's 20, and Nakamura is 31.
21.
31, yeah. Like,
21 and 31, there's a 10-year difference.
No, she's not 21, she's 20.
I have it in front of me. She's 21.
Oh, okay. Well, she said she's turning 21, so she probably just hasn't yet.
Oh, it might be it, yeah.
But, it was really weird to me because at first it was like, it's been this joke the whole time how much older he is than everyone, so I thought for sure, he only has like one or maybe two options. He'll get with like the 26-year-old. But now he's going for the 20-year-old? I thought that was weird.
It's just weird, especially like it's very possible that culturally, like, it's just different, right? Like, and it's not a big deal, and like they're both like legal adults, whatever. Like, they can do what they want. The dynamic he has in the house, what makes it at least like a little bit uncomfortable for me to see, especially with Ani, which just came out of left field. Like, if he was with Tsubasa, or even like Mizuki, like I think they have a dynamic where it could work,
and they're also
but
older.
Ami seems like completely out of left field.
Yeah, well, because it's a weird dynamic because Ami's the one who's been getting upset and like kind of confused about where she's going in life.
Yeah,
and
doesn't know what to do with her like career. Like she's very much so like in that process of being a young person trying to figure everything out. Like
and it's bad
kind
timing.
of immature in that way. And then he's so mature. He's 31. He's going to her, giving her advice.
Like swoops in when like she's having a hard time, and now is like, you know, after they had that talk where she was upset, now he's into her. I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. One, that, and also just the dynamic where he said like, it obviously it just sounds bad, even like, you know, just out of context. Like, she's kind of like a little sister, and also I'm into her. Like, I don't know. That was.
Yeah. I hope, though, because obviously Ami is feeling comfortable going to him for advice. I just hope that relationship continues to stay healthy and that it doesn't, like, change into anything. Because when you're so open with somebody, right, like, that's a very easy way to get hurt. And I just hope, obviously, that doesn't happen to Ami. Because I guess she really wasn't that, like, she wasn't in this episode that much. But this struggle she's going through with becoming a model is like one of the more relatable arcs in the Terrace House right now.
Yeah. So. I also just remembered that in the first episode that Ami was the one who said she was not the type of girl for Nakamura.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So now it's weird immediately that this, so it might turn unhealthy. It might not work out.
Well, also remember during that exact conversation, like as soon as she said that, Nakamura started to push back on her and be like, "Well, what is your type then?" And we were like, "Oh, like he's like
he might be into her
now interested."
Yeah, like as soon as she said,
like,
"Oh, I'm not for you," then
he
said, "Well, what are you like? You know, who do you like, or what kind of guy are you into?" And I thought that was kind of him being interested, and now it kind of seems like it's turning into that. So I mean, I don't know. I might support it if they get together. It might be weird. I would have to see it.
Yeah. Also, I should mention, like, we're really jumping around here. Back to just quick thing about Yadai. Everyone hating on him for not making them food at every meal is a little much. It's not his job.
Yeah, agreed. It was weird to me that just because he's a cook, he's expected to cook for them so much. Like that's his career. I forgot. I compared it to something. I compared it to like, if your friend is a waitress or your roommate is a waitress, and then because she's a waitress you expect her to bring you water like all the time at your table, like it doesn't make sense.
Oh my god, I also should quickly like throw out there, the pandas made a return. They made multiple scenes, actually. They were playing with them on the couch and like hugging them, which I did not like. And then they throw the I think it was Ami threw it like on the floor or something, and oh my god, Yudai gets up and is like, oh no, like I care about them, and like picks him up, and like it was visibly upset that they were thrown on the floor.
Like, these mean a lot to me. Visibly like upset.
And then just like some horrific scenes of him sleeping and them just like watching him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just... And then, or like him getting out of bed and the pandas like looking at each other, and just like, it was a very like beautiful shot, like cinematography wise. But it was just like, it was so intense.
I really wish they wouldn't have told us like, oh, he like makes out with his pandas, because like then I could just be like, oh, it's stuffed animals. Yeah.
I wish I didn't know that.
But also the entire house knows, and they're still like playing around with them like, lol, this is a funny goof.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's
little
rough.
Do they know. Who knows what might have happened with those pandas?
Honestly.
Oh my god.
Any last thoughts for episode 5 of Terrace House Opening New Doors?
I don't know. I mean, I'm mostly just interested in to see how this Nakamura Ami thing turns out, because I also think Yudai would be really upset because he's so into Ami.
Yeah. And like kind of betrayal by someone who he values, like is being close to.
Oh yeah, like he wouldn't think that like the dad of the house is gonna steal his girl, but like apparently that's where we're at.
They really made a joke in the first episode where like, oh, I'm as old as your dad.
He did. He was like, oh, I'm like your dad. Like it was so,
they call him dad. So... They called him dad.
Yeah,
and
actively.
How he's been getting on their case about dishes or something, like he's becoming the dad of the house, and it's
and
it's both sweet and like very weird.
Yeah, so this is going to turn into something, but I don't know what it's going to turn into. I think Yudai's going to get upset. But I guess we'll see on episode 6 for Snowfall.
What's it called? First snowfall?
First snowfall, yeah.
Oh, I said I was excited for the snow, and I guess we're here. Also, maybe... I guess this will probably be answered in the next episode, so we should give our official prediction. Do you think our boy Yadai gets the job?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, he applied to a lot of different places, so I'm assuming he got at least one.
It sounded like, though, he only had that one interview that he biked to.
Okay.
So
yeah, I'm not sure. The one girl in Peanut Gallery was like, I wouldn't hire him.
They all were like,
just
oh,
because, yeah.
he was horrible. Like, they all...
He wore sunglasses, like,
That was the entire
casual.
Peanut Gallery, this entire episode. Every time we cut to them was just, like,
Yudai.
hating on Yadai.
And I think Yudai is fine. He apologized for what happened, and he's just, like, he's young and dumb and immature, and that's fine.
But, like, a lot of the time, I just don't think he did a lot. Like, I don't think him saying, I want to go look at Gucci is a big deal.
Yeah, and I don't think him... like, you know, using his dad's credit card with permission is, like, morally unjust. Like, I think it's stupid and to, like, you know, and if he isn't paying his parents back, like, quick, then that's kind of a problem. But if his parents are fine with him using it, then I don't really see, like, as much of an issue as Mizuki said, so.
Yeah. I'm gonna predict that he does get it.
I think he'll get a job.
Okay.
Somewhere, so.
So this has been episode 2 of Welcome Home, Terrace House Podcast. If you do like us, you can subscribe and follow on wherever you get your Apple or your podcast. It can be Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. And yeah, this was an episode of drama. And I will also just mention, like, at the end, I'm hooked. This is in such a, like...
We've been watching for hours and haven't stopped.
Oh yeah, like, we're still recording this the same day as we recorded it. Like, we watched 5 episodes of the show. It's hooked me with the drama, and I think the character dynamics are really interesting. I'm hooked.
Same. If you're getting into Terrace House, I would recommend this season.
It's much quicker than Tokyo 20. Like, 2019, 2020 is it feels like such a different show, but they just move so slow that, like, this is instant, just, like, interest.
For sure. Yeah, I haven't been, like, this hooked on a show where I want to keep watching in a while. It's going to be, like, almost painful to stop right now.